Thanks for watching. I'm Magician Mark Collier.
Anna. No, we made that bad.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. My name's Mark Collier.
And I am Milt Larsen.
And you're watching Ken Boxer Live on TVSB.
Terry Ryken Realtor proudly presents Ken Boxer Live. From the American Riviera in Santa Barbara, California, it's Ken Boxer Live, Santa Barbara's one and only entertainment talk show. Let's welcome the host of the show, Ken Boxer.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Wow, what a great audience. I'm Ken Boxer, and this is Ken Boxer Live. I've got a great show for you this half hour, but before we begin the show, for the last probably 2 months, I've been personally wanting to invite Ellen. Ellen DeGeneres, if you're watching the show, we would love to have you as a guest on our program. Wouldn't we, everybody? Yeah. Love to have Ellen? Yes. Okay. Look at that. We'd love to have that beautiful smile here. Okay, so Ellen, if you're watching, or a friend watching that knows her, we'd love to have her on the show. On the show, though, this evening, I'm so very excited, everybody. With us, I have a returning guest. Now, this is our 83rd show, and I've always wanted guests to return, but you know, we do the show maybe 2 or 3 times a month, and it gets rebroadcast for the entire month. So we don't have a lot of guests for the year. And this, as I said, 83rd show, and our guest actually was on our 10th show 5 years ago. I looked it up. And you can see him on YouTube, the show that we did 5 years ago. With us tonight, we have 2 guests. With us is the proprietor, the owner of the Magic Castle in Hollywood. He's also an entrepreneur, a writer, as well as an author. We have with us Milt Larsen with us tonight in the house. Yes. Joining Milt is the most incredible magician that you've seen here in Santa Barbara, as well as he performs in the Magic Castle. We have with us tonight, I got to tell you, we have Mark Collier, everybody. His magic is phenomenal, and we have Milt and Mark with us in just a moment, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you by the following sponsors. Palazzo Italian Restaurant, for people to go leave there hungry or thirsty. Gustafson Dance, meeting the highest standards in dance training. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. And now, back to our show.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. It's so nice of you. Thank you. Thank you. So welcome back. With us tonight are 2 well-known entertainers. We have the owner of the world-renowned Magic Castle, Milt Larsen. Milt is he's also a writer, an actor, a lyricist, magician, and entrepreneur. And joining Milt is Mark Collier, one of the most highly regarded magicians around in Santa Barbara and in Southern California. He performs in the Magic Castle as well. So let's welcome 2 very entertaining, talented guys, Milt Larsen and Mark Collier, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. It's been 5 years since I've seen you. How
Has
are you?
it been that?
Yes.
Yes. You know, my age, 5 years is just nothing. So
Will you tell our audience how old you are?
no.
Yeah.
I am a very young 87 years old.
Congratulations.
You know, they say you're as young as you feel.
Right, and you feel young.
No, I feel terrible. I'm old.
how did you two meet, you and Mark?
Magic Castle, I think.
Well, the castle, you have to remember, my late brother and I founded the castle 55 years ago. Wow.
Wow.
So over the 50 years, I've met a lot of magicians. And one of them happened to be him.
Did he hustle you to
No,
get
the
in?
minute I saw him perform, I said, that's a very funny guy, and I like funny people. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we just kind of hit it off and said, hey,
Yeah.
we have fun.
Mark, you not only perform at the Magic Castle, but you perform all over Southern California, right?
Sure. Yeah, why? You got a
Whoever
gig
can
for
write the
me?
paycheck.
You know, he performs any place. It's the old thing, yeah, perform any place you want to book me. But it's there are magicians conventions all over the world, and he's one of the most popular people. And the only problem is he has to get away from Santa Barbara because he's here every Friday night. So all those gigs have to be somewhere other than a Friday
No, I
night.
can get out of Friday.
I know.
night. I can go.
Both of you can answer this. Do you have to be a good actor to be a good magician?
You have to be able to act like a magician.
You know, someone once said that a great actor can play the part of a great magician. A great magician cannot necessarily be a good actor.
Okay.
But a magician is an entertainer who creates mystery, and it is all the imagination, and that's what a magician brings out of people. And actors bring out a script, a beautifully written script, and beautifully written parts, and beautifully written everything else. But a magician just says, wait a minute, I just made somebody float in the air and go over there. Oh, that's pretty damn good, you know.
But why is it, though, and you don't really fit the part on this because Mark looks like a handsome young man, but why is it you always think of, listen to my point, you're saying no. Why is it that we always think of, when you see the magicians, you know, with the Van Dyke beard and there's just something strange about them. Why is that?
Because there's something strange about magicians. but actually, you know, in the old thing of Mandrake the magician and Dante and Harry Blackstone and all those people, and yeah, it was the tails and the Van Dyke beard and the whole thing. Then a little guy, a big entertainer by the name of Doug Henning came along, and all of a sudden, the magicians, he was like a Harlequin. He was like a today tie-dyed magician, and that changed the whole thing.
It really did.
And,
Well, Mark, do you still get stumped by other magicians?
Absolutely.
But isn't like the foundation of all magic's pretty similar? That you kind of, if you know some basics, you
But
probably
the
know.
techniques of a magician are so powerful that even if you use them regularly, you can still be fooled by those same techniques.
oh yeah.
Okay. Wow, he said it like he said it before 1,000 times, right?
Seriously, I was born in a magic family, so I've spent my entire life with magicians, and I am totally fooled by magicians. Not exactly fooled, you know. Penn and Teller have the show about
Right.
Can you fool me? They're not necessarily fooled, but they appreciate where you got there to get to where you're going. And that's what magic is all about, the world of imagination. It is, you know, if you really think about Alice in Wonderland and Harry Potter, whoever that guy is, or what it is, but it isn't the idea of, to a magician, absolutely nothing is impossible. There is no such thing as an impossible thing. And that's why magicians were going to the moon years and years and years. 100 years ago, Jules Verne was going to the moon, and it took him 100 years to get there. You know, I mean,
Yeah, but isn't it true,
slow? They're slow people.
But isn't it also true, though, that you never preview a magician that's about to perform at the Magic Castle? You wait until the performance?
Well, true, but we have people that do that.
Yeah, but you never do. But you never do.
No, I have always made a point. We do a show called It's Magic, which is at the Libero Theater every year for the last 15 years. And it's different acts every week, every
Mind you,
year.
it's a great
but
show.
At any rate,
You know
as a producer of that show, I have a great director. We hire 8 wonderful acts, and I will not go backstage to watch, until the show's on. Now, if the show doesn't start at exactly 8 o'clock, I'll be backstage raising hell. But if it does, I want to see the show the way the people see the show.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people that may not have seen or know about the Magic Castle. I can't believe that's true, but there
I
might
can't
be
believe
some.
that.
Let's watch this clip. It's going to talk about the Magic Castle.
Why not?
Okay, let's do that.
I have the coolest job on the planet. You want to know why? Open sesame. I get that question a lot. Are you a magician? And unfortunately, I'm not. However, my typical answer is I make deficits disappear. And that usually gets a laugh. The first time I visited the Magic Castle was back in 1981 when I was a 7-year-old boy. It was a combination of walking through the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland and obviously your grandmother's house. It was truly spectacular. It was mind-blowing. Well, I would say the Magic Castle gives you a very unique experience. Yes, we have magic, and we have almost 32 shows nightly in 4 different showrooms and impromptu areas. But then we have the building itself. You know, the Magic Castle is the star of the show. Built in 1907. Our founders, Bill, Milt, and Irene, you know, this was their home. You know, occupied as a residence from 1908 to sometime in the mid-30s. When you walk through the open sesame door and you gaze upon the saloon that we're sitting in now, there's so much to see. It's about taking you back to that first time you saw a trick, whether it was your father, your aunt, your uncle, and the sense of wonder. You have to come back multiple times to be able to absorb everything that the castle has to offer. And that's exactly what our former president, Neil Patrick Harris, wanted, was to create the ultimate experience from the time you drove up the hill to the time you drive down the hill. It has to be the ultimate experience for our members and guests.
Now, if you're just joining us, we have Milt Larsen.
That's wonderful.
Pardon me?
That's why, yeah, I don't need glasses. I only use them for seeing. But it's
And Mark
But that's
Collier
great.
is
Thank
with us.
you.
Mark, you're going to be doing some magic in just a moment, but I have to ask you, tell us about this new cabaret that you and your wife Arlene are starting here in Santa Barbara.
yeah, why don't I tell you about the new cabaret that my wife Arlene and I are doing? No, but for starters, I am a Santa Barbara resident, okay? And my
Yay.
wife is. And for 30 years I've been here. I love Santa Barbara. The castle is in Hollywood. I take the train. I'll be on the train tomorrow to Hollywood. I come back on Friday. My wife is stuck with doing a thing. But we found this great old restaurant that probably everybody in Santa Barbara used to know it at one time or the other, is the Café de Sol, right above the Bird Lake.
The bird refuge.
Yeah, the bird refuge, yeah. And, you know, there's the lake and the bird refuge and then the old mansion, and then there's our place. And that reminded me of a wonderful legend, and it is a legend, of a Spanish crazy magician. They had a castle in Upper Spain, and she had this palace next to the lake in Spain. So why not turn that neat old restaurant into a palace? And that's what we did.
Congratulations.
I love it.
But it's
The only reason I'm mentioning all that is the castle is famous for its Victorian decor. I did the Mayfair Music Hall in Santa Monica, the British Music Hall. I did another. I like that sort of thing. So this place is out of sight, over the top. It is nothing like it used to be. But the whole thing is based on close-up magic. And people don't get to see that very often, except at the castle.
But it's a private club.
It is a private club, yes, and so is the castle. But the thing is that a lot of our people that live here don't want to go down. You know, a lot of people think that Ventura is the border that Trump is building a wall on. You know, they never go.
Right, beyond.
No, nobody's been to Los Angeles in years, you know, and they don't want to go. and I
Speaking
don't.
of Trump, that looks like a Trump tie.
Oh, you know, I'm glad you asked because Trump, I call him Donald, but I'm just going to stand up because he wears his tie about here, you know, and I don't know why he does that, but I just love it. So I went to our guys at Disney and they designed me a tie. And they had the people that do the Pinocchio costumes and stuff make me this tie. And the only trouble is, like in Pinocchio, if you tell a lie, the Trump gets bigger. So, we don't know why that is, but as long as you tell a lie. So Donald, I sent him one, and he thanked me very much. Actually, his plumber sent me one because he kept throwing it in the Oval Office toilet. But anyway, but that is, if you need these.
That's Mark. That's a tough act to follow. Go ahead. You said you're going to provide us with. We don't have a lot of time, but you have some magic that you can show.
I'll show you a free trick. Give me $1.
Hey,
It's funnier if you have a
I
10.
have $1.
No, $1 is fine. Milt says magic's about the imagination. I couldn't agree more. Because what if, like, imagine if you really could do magic. What would you do?
Turn it into a 10.
I used to turn it into a 10. I kept practicing. I got better. Okay.
I just made a lot of money.
No, you didn't. You got to see a good trick. There you go. There you go. All right. So
you got your buck back. That's
that's right.
I'm lucky. Okay, what else are you going to show us?
Okay, so well, I have a sailboat in Santa Barbara. What a great town to have a sailboat. So as a sailor and a magician, I figured I'll learn a rope trick. So this is a regular rope. You can tell it has 2 ends, one on each. That's right. That's right where they should be. It gets better. If I cross the ends and twist them together, they come off. Now I have a rope with no ends. If I put the ends back as a regular rope. So you guys have probably seen the one where they cut it and put it back together. You've seen that one?
Right.
Yeah, I don't do that one.
why do that?
I don't do that one. I use magic to cut the rope. Now there's 2 ropes. Some of you look angry. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me start over. So I got this rope. the ends are here, and the middle's here. I crumple this into the end. It goes through the rope over to the middle. I do it again, and now I have 2 ends where the middle was. Only middle where the ends were. You can examine the rope, and that's close enough. No, check it out. It won't stretch. There's no mirrors. Look, Ken, you can't just break it. It's a regular rope. Okay, so now I have 3 ropes. I have a short rope and a medium rope here, and a long rope here. If they were the same length, the ends would be equal. If the ends were equal, they'd be the same length. So I put the ends together so the ends are equal, and now I have 3 equal ropes. And if you don't believe that these ropes are all the same length, if you still don't believe it, You're right. I really have one short, one medium, and one long.
Is this, Milt, is this the type of magic, up close magic, that you would see at the Magic Castle and your new cabaret?
I want to say, because yes, but the magicians at the castle in Hollywood it's a huge place at 27,000 square. Our new place in Montecito is 4,000 square feet. Wow. It's tiny, but at close-up magic is small. So you're going to see people with coins and cards and things. Now, it doesn't mean behind the curtain might be a lion or big boxes and naked ladies and all that stuff. We haven't gotten that far yet, but there's actually not room enough. So if you want to see the finest, and actually the Magic Castle has the finest magicians in the world playing there from all over the world, and they're all award winners. So every week we intend to have one of the best close-up people performing close-up magic for the people. And it's going to be fun.
Well, when you
and
think
that keeps me off the streets and out of the bars.
Well, when you think of like the ultimate magic trick, and you think about what it could be, and perhaps like I've seen the elephant disappearing on stage, that kind of trick. What for you? What would you like? What's the ultimate magic trick you've seen, and what would you like to see as the ultimate magic trick?
Well,
and for both of you.
Well, I could answer that question with the answer that it can't be done, because I said magicians, nothing is impossible. But as long as the mind can conceive of anything, it can be done. And that is the trick. I want to see something that I haven't thought of yet, and I will never think about until we get in the car going back. Because then I'll say, oh, I should have said. I knew I should have said something.
Well, Mark, is there any tricks that surprise you?
Sure. I get surprised all the time. I love close-up magic because, I don't want to talk bad about, one of the great things about the Magic Castle is it represents all the different types of magic. There's a stage room, there's a parlor where you perform standing for a group of 60 people. There's a close-up, and those are different types of magic, and the Magic Castle represents all that. But to me, there's something pure about close-up magic, because partly as a magician, I'm right in the eye of the hurricane. When someone goes, oh, that's such a real, unguarded reaction. Yeah. And they don't fake that. That when you hear somebody gasp, and they're having an extraordinary moment. And as educated adults, we don't get really extraordinary moments that often. It's rare.
Is it true the story that you don't want to do magics for kids because they never look where you want to direct them, and they could figure out the trick pretty easily? Is that true?
Well, I wouldn't say exactly that's why we don't like doing magic for kids.
We just don't like kids.
We don't like kids. No, but it's true. Kids think differently. If you went to a baby and took a pacifier out of the baby's mouth and you could just hang it in the air, the baby would be pissed.
But and to that is the kid's mind is not cluttered up with all the things that an adult mind does. Mm-hmm. If you do a thing for an adult, they say, oh, it could be this, it could be that, it could be that. A child will say, oh, that's the way that works, because they think clearly. They think they're not thinking about the devious, horrible ways you could do things. Right.
They don't make the assumptions.
We only have almost a little bit about over a minute, but I wanted to get this book presented on the show, and it's called It's Magic. Mm-hmm. You wrote it.
Oh yeah, and somebody had to do it.
And it's your latest book that you've written, and it's kind of a overview and a lot of pictures of the history of magic.
Yeah, well, that is on our It's Magic show, which is the one that we do at the Libero. And incidentally, we do it up and down the coast in performing arts theaters. But that is a book that we did on our 60th anniversary of doing that show. And it's all the pictures from the show. It's kind of a rare thing. We also have other books on the Magic Castle itself, but I thought that would be appropriate for Santa Barbara.
Well, we're so happy that you visited us tonight. Thank you so very much. Yes, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. And good luck with the cabaret.
Thank you. Thank you.
And say hello to your beautiful wife.
I will do that.
Well, that's our show for tonight. So for our guests, Milt Larsen and Mark Collier, Anchor Director Nick Freddy, and the entire KBL crew, I'm Ken Boxer. Good night, everybody.
Ken Boxer Live is brought to you by the following sponsors. Terry Ryken, your broker with a personal touch for all your real estate needs. Gustafson Dance, meeting the highest standards in dance training. Giovanni's Pizza, the best pizza in Santa Barbara. The Lovin' Spoonful, yogurt at its finest. The Daily Grind, espresso, juice, and deli. Spud Nuts Donuts. Palazzo Italian Restaurant, where people don't leave there hungry or thirsty. The Eagle Inn, a family-owned hotel near the beach in Santa Barbara. Petrini's Family Restaurant. La Quinta Inn and Suites. Country Catering, Meat Market and Deli. Lito's Takeout. Jack's Bagels and Bistro. The Ken Boxer Live musical theme composed and arranged by Mr. Michael J. Leslie. From all of us at Ken Boxer Live, I'm Baron Ron Heron. Good night, everyone.